A pleasant afternoon to you. We want to sincerely thank you for joining us on this week's edition of that Public Enlightenment program on tax administration in Ogun State. It is called I.R.S. Digest. My name is Adeshino Anidugbe. The program is brought your way every Thursday afternoon by the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service on behalf of the government of the Gateway State. And the essence is actually to get you further educated and enlightened about tax issues in Ogun State and the need for everyone to ensure that they are truly partners in progress. The government appreciates everything you have done for it with respect to payment of taxes and the prompt payment of taxes too. But together we still can do a lot better. This is I.R.S. Digest on Ogtv, and we thank you for joining us. When we return from this short break, we shall be joined by the Head Direct Assessment of the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Musbao Adekoye Obe, and together with him, we shall be taking a deep look at the issue of direct assessment. What constitute direct assessment? Who are those who are expected to also pay direct assessment or to be under direct assessment as far as taxation is concerned? And everything you may wish to know about the direct assessment is what Mr. Obe will be telling us the more on the program this afternoon. All we urge you is actually to sit back and be part of the entire process. I.R.S. Digest on the bill of Ogun State Internal Revenue Service on behalf of the government of Ogun State. We'll return very shortly.
Internal Revenue Service Ogun State opens Olorunshogo Abeokuta tax station. In its continuous desire to bring its activities closer to the people and reduce the stress in their transactions, the Internal Revenue Service Ogun State has opened a new tax station at Ozana House, 50 Abiola Way, opposite Mao Filling Station, Olorunshogo Abeokuta. Now you can pay your personal income tax, pay as you earn, driver's license, vehicle license fees, lottery and gaming machine tax, stamp duty and other taxes at Olorunshogo tax station in Abeokuta. In addition, residents of Iperu and its environs can now make payments for all their road taxes fees, which they couldn't do before at our Iperu tax station, Ilishon Road, Iperu Remo. Remember, Ogun State government needs your support in its mission to rebuild the state. Pay your taxes and levies promptly. Visit us today at Olorunshogo tax station at Ozana House, 50 Abiola Way, opposite Mao Filling Station, Olorunshogo Abeokuta. We are expecting you.
What do all these people need? Portable water, good roads, affordable healthcare facilities, rural electrification, or perhaps conducive learning and business environment? All these and more can be achieved if every citizen performs his or her duty. Be a partner in progress with the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service by paying your tax. You can pay directly to our headquarters complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta, or any of the Ogun State Internal Revenue Office nearest to you. Ogun State taxpayers are partners in progress.
Well, thank you for joining us still on I.R.S. Digest this Thursday afternoon. And we told you we were going to be talking about direct assessment, and no other person could talk of this as far as his portfolio is concerned at the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service other than the head direct assessment of that organization. And we're talking of Mr. Musbao Adekoye Obe. He's here with us to tell us more about direct assessment and all you may wish to possibly know about this as far as taxation and tax administration as a process is concerned in Ogun State. We therefore welcome to the studios of I.R.S. Digest this Thursday, Mr. Musbao Adekoye Obe. Mr. Obe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good people.
It's nice to have you with us here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about direct assessment, and I think everyone who is watching us now will want to know deeply what direct assessment is all about. And I would like you to lead us into those who are meant to pay direct assessment as a first port of call.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Before I ask your question, I'll first of all thank the good people of Ogun State for their cooperation on our compliance drive that we did last year, and the one we are currently doing. We are at the Yewa axis. We are now at Owode and Ilaro. We thank them very much for their cooperation and for their understanding their reception, they are cooperating seriously with our people at that end now. We just want to let them know that all the money they are paying is for the provision and improvement of amenities in Ogun State. And the government is so much like their cooperation to continue like that. To come back to the question you have asked, that what is direct assessment? Well, every taxable adult in Ogun State, let me say in Nigeria, is expected to pay tax. Taxable adult, simply put, are the adults that are working and earning income that is making them to continue to live. So they are working and they are generating income for their self-sustaining. So if you look at the way our economy is structured, we have two categories of people. We have one that are, some people are self-employed, that they are employed by themselves, they are doing their own business, and some are working for somebody else. Like me, I work with Ogun State Internal Revenue Service. I work under the Ogun State government, so I am not self-employed. Okay. Now, to simply put, direct assessment are the kind of assessment that are made assessment, that those are the assessments that are made to the people that are self-employed, okay, within the economy. Okay. Those who are like vulcanizer, taxi driver, barber, those petty people traders, who are petty traders,
those majorly informal sector,
those people that are earning their own income for their continued lifestyle, I mean, that are generating their income, not they are getting their income by themselves. They have their own business that is keeping them going, okay, on day-to-day basis. Those are the people that we normally assess on direct assessment. So the other category that are under employment from somebody else, they are pay their own taxes on pay as you earn.
Okay, so those that is the salaried job.
Those are the salaried people.
Now, can we know if direct assessment is the same thing as minimum tax?
Well, we cannot say direct assessment is you cannot say that it's not minimum tax. As I've earlier explained, direct assessment is meant for the people that are self-employed. Now, there are minimum amount of taxes that is expected from the people who are employed in certain category, who are in certain category of trade. Okay. Like in my office now, according to in tax law, there are certain minimum expectation. For example, if you earn from 1 naira to 300,000, you are expected to pay 1%, okay, of that amount. So for example, if we discover that your income in a year is 200,000, so we apply 1%, and you are expected to pay 200,000. That is your assessment. You understand? So that is what the law says. Now, for direct assessment, you can be a self-employed people who is having a very big business. You are doing big business. You may involve in iron rod distribution or big time distributor for big multinational company. It doesn't mean that you are going to pay minimum tax. Okay. Minimum tax is the expected minimum expected least amount of money that can. For example, we have a template in our office, because there are certain category of the people that are supposed to pay direct assessment that we call them informal sector. They don't have records for their business. They don't have records at all. Even if you ask them how much do you make every month, they can't say. They don't keep expenses, so they don't have records. So what we normally do every year is to fashion out a sort of template. We call them trade template for presumptive income, and we arrive at a presumptive tax for this category of people. These are the minimum. This is the way we normally manage the tax collection on this category of people. So it's not actually direct assessment, is not actually minimum tax. But in my office, we normally call those things minimum tax for our own convenience.
Okay.
But in law, that is not.
So there's a clear difference between direct assessment and minimum tax. Now let's talk about taxpayers. Can they assess themselves under direct assessment, or how do they go about knowing what is expected of them to be paid in line with what they earn as income?
Thank you. Definitely, what the law expected everybody to do is to file their annual returns. What I mean by annual return is at the beginning of every year, that is from the 1st of January, you're supposed to, there is a prescribed form, you're supposed to disclose your income for the preceding year. And all the necessary other information is there, that your name and the kind of business that you are involved in, all those ones. Well, once you have supplied all this information, what we are going to do is we are going to assess you based on the information you have supplied. That is that is the process we normally use in arriving at the tax liability for every taxable individual.
Okay, so no individual can assess him or herself on the basis
you can assess. Taxation is something that you can do by yourself. That is what they call it tax.
But how acceptable would that be to you? How truthful would an individual who is assessing him or herself be when it comes to payment of taxes?
Of course, when you provide all your necessary information, we know we live in the same town.
So you have your own intelligence gathering process.
Definitely. We have offices in all the local government in Ogun State. So if you say you are Mr. A, you are trading in this type of business, you understand? So we have gotten a sort of, as I've said earlier, a sort of presumptive income if the man belongs to an informal sector. You understand? And if you don't belong to that, you are expected, we will accept your self-assessment.
Okay.
But if we have any additional information that reveal that you are supposed to pay, you have more than the income that you have declared, definitely we are going to raise additional assessment. Based on the assessment, the self-assessment you have made, we will accept it. But if subsequently we come across any information that necessitates that we should give you an additional assessment, definitely we are going to do that.
Okay, now after being duly assessed, whether you assessed yourself or you have been assessed by the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, what comes next? What is the next stage of your
Well, there are so many advantages that you can derive for paying your tax. For example, if you are a good taxpayer, you are expected to request our office to process your tax clearance certificate. You need tax clearance certificate to do so many things, to process so many business documents and things like that, and traveling documents, and even to pay for to access social services within the state. That is number one. Number two, you have every right, by the time you pay your tax, to request for the government official receipt. Is very, very important. You must get your government official receipt. So those are the things you have to ensure that you have. If we, at times when we go out like that, banks normally follow us, so that by the time we assess you, you pay to the bank. We will give you teller initially, but you have to insist, and latest by a week after you have made your payment, go to our office nearest to you to obtain your official receipt. It's very, very important.
If I just joining us, the program is I.R.S. Digest on Ogtv, which is being brought to you by the Ogun State government through the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service to further enlist people's support in the area of prompt payment of taxes into the coffers of the Ogun State government, so that government can have access to additional funds to turn around the fortunes of the state for good. We'll return very shortly. We still have with us here Mr. Musbao Adekoye, who is the head direct assessment of the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, and we're focusing on direct assessment, what is expected of each and every taxpayer that is in self-employment in Ogun State as far as direct assessment is concerned.
I.R.S. ní ìjọba àwarawa. Ètò ìlera tó jọjú, ètò ẹ̀kọ́ tó yarantí, education òpópónà tó dùn rìn o, electrification for all and sundry, omi ẹ̀rọ tí ò láfiwé, oldies and many more lájẹ́ sí wa, ìlú wa lè darí má lè lọ fáwọn olókòwò ìgbéyà taxis, kí ìlú wa lè tẹ̀síwájú.
Let's join hands in building a world of comfort in Ogun State. Pay your taxes and levies today. It pays to do so. Thank you for your time with us still. Mr. Musbao Adekoye Obe, the Head Direct Assessment of Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, is here with us still. And we're taking a look at direct assessment as a form of taxation in Ogun State. You can also benefit the more from the discourse. Now, Mr. Obe, we have a two-in-one question here. Those who have been directly assessed, are they expected to pay monthly or annually? Then secondly, there is certainly a form that they are expected to fill, which is Form A. What is it about Form A? Can you take the two questions back to back?
Okay. Well, see, Form A is a form that you are expected to supply all the necessary information that could be used to assess you to tax. So it contains your income for the preceding year and your particulars about the names of your children or your dependents and your any other income that you normally. A lot of people may have income from so many sources, because what we are talking about is for you to be assessed to tax. It doesn't mean because you are a barber, you don't have any other business. All your business, all your income must be stated. This form is designed in such a way that you can supply all this information.
So if you have more than one business, you are expected to fill in all the information about the businesses, every
and
source of your income
you derive from those businesses.
Okay.
So that is it. So that is the purpose of Form A. So having gotten the Form A, by submitting it to our office, the next is for us to assess you to tax.
So after you have been assessed, are you expected to pay monthly or annually?
Well, the issue of payment goes like this. If the law is expected you to file your returns from the commencement of the year of assessment, government year of assessment starts from 1st of January.
Okay.
And you are expected within 90 days to do that. That is, as at the end of March of each year of assessment, you are expected to should have done that. But what you're supposed to do when we assess you to tax, within that year of assessment, and you've known your liability, what you are expected to do is to come to our office. If you know that you cannot even pay the amount once, you should come, put it in writing, put it sort of write up that this is the way you are going to pay your tax.
So the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service provides the opportunity for taxpayers, okay, to have their tax commitment scattered for those who are within the year of assessment. For those who are in direct assessment,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, we have that. There's opportunity for that. There's opportunity, because the purpose of tax is not to inconvenience anybody. It's just a contribution towards a common purpose to develop the for infrastructural development within your environment. And you can see what the government is doing. They are using tax money to do all those things. So that is the reason why I'm imploring our viewers and all other people who have not filed their returns for this year to go and do so. You are doing yourself a favor if you do that, because when you comply voluntarily, you allow government to do more for the generality of the public.
Now, we were talking about Form A while ago, and I want to know where specifically can this form be obtained. Is it only at your corporate headquarters, or you have the form also distributed to all your tax stations?
In fact, there are some of the category of taxpayer that we have written a lot of letter. A lot of letter has gone out this year, and we attach Form A to it to let them fill and return to our office. But if we have not sent one to you, visit our nearest office, our office nearest to your place of work or your residence. So it's very, very important. Obtain it, fill it, and return it to where you have obtained it. It's not only in our corporate headquarters. It's all our offices you can obtain Form A to supply all the necessary information that will make us to assess you to tax.
Now, certainly, people who have paid their taxes will also be expecting to be issued their electronic tax payers certificate, which is ETCC.
ETCC.
So, in the situation that somebody has been duly assessed and he has fulfilled all conditionalities for the issuance of this, how soon does that come by?
Well, before we talk how soon, it depends on the availability of all the necessary information that we can use to process that the tax clearance certificate. Some people, when they, because you have to apply in writing, that's what the law says. We have a form for that. After you have paid your tax, if you want ETCs, it's not automatic. You are the one that's going to start the process by obtaining our form, filling it, and submit it. We request for all the necessary information and documents that we want to see. For example, all the receipts you have paid. We want to see all the receipts and the assessment that we have given you. You understand? So once you have submitted that, and okay, within a week, you should be able to collect your tax clearance certificate if there is no hitch.
Now, without the liberalization that you have provided with respect to making it easier for taxpayers to comply with the tax laws, what would you then say has been the level of compliance, particularly in relation to your own field of operations, which is direct assessment?
Well, thank you. That's a very good question. You see, our people are cooperating seriously. I think a lot of our direct assessment taxpayers are not well informed. Because when you get to some places, you ask them that, they will tell you, what are you doing here? Why should I pay tax? It's only the people that are working with the government that pay tax. I am not working under people, I work for myself. Why should you ask me to pay tax? Look, everybody, the way I have said it, that is what we normally tell them. So when you start explaining to some people, even the elderly, you will, we don't know that is the way. We thought government have stopped collecting tax from the category of the people who are self-employed.
Okay.
So that is the reason why this type of program supposed to be on, if possible, to even extend it more than 30 minutes. Because our people needs a lot of orientation, education, and let them know the importance of all this. Because at the back of their mind is only the people that are employed by other people that are supposed to pay tax. That is their belief. And they will tell you with all form of authority that they are not supposed to pay tax. Even some people will say, my son is paying tax, why should I pay? Some people will say, my husband is paying tax, why should I pay? So that is the kind of belief that our people are having. So that you see our vehicles all over the places explaining and educating people that, look, so far that you are an adult and you are working, you are earning an income, you are supposed to pay tax. It's compulsory.
So regardless of the kind of job you do within the ambit of the law,
so
anyway,
far that you earn
any income. So, okay, as we custom, we cannot overstress the need for people to be further encouraged to do the needful in the area of tax payment. What would be your advice to taxpayers generally, those in paid employment and those who are self-employed?
Well, I want to implore all our people that we are doing ourselves a good thing if we pay our tax promptly, and if we render all the necessary, those people who withhold some taxes from the people who carry out contracts job for them, and they withhold certain percentage of that money, they must remit on time. They must remit on time. Even those people who have people in their employment, once you have made all the necessary deduction, please remit on time. The law says you should remit between on the 4th, latest by on the 10th of the following month. Please do so. It's very, very important. The earlier the government gets this money, the better for every one of us.
All right, that's the word of encouragement there from the direct assessment rather, of the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Musbao Adekoye Obe, who has challenged us to say that we continue to be true partners in progress with the government of Senator Ibikunle Amoson, as the government strives to ensure that dividends of democracy are distributed to the nooks and crannies of the gateway state. Pay your taxes and levies to be able to assist the government to achieve more. Mr. Obe, we thank you so much for your time with us, and we wish you the very best. I can assure you that we'll bring you back here to educate us the more on direct assessment.
Thank you.
That is going to be on today's edition. My name is Adeshino Anidugbe. I would love to implore you to continue to do that which is needful. Be on the side of the law. Pay your taxes and levies promptly, because it pays to do so. See you next Thursday, God willing.
We wondered why we pay tax, or what our tax is used for.
Remember what schools in Ogun State used to be? How the provided education could not guarantee the future of our children? Aha! See what I mean? Things have changed. We now have model schools, free education and free textbooks for all students. Taxes are the only ways through which we can strengthen our medium and small-scale industries. The fortune of our Ogun State has greatly improved from what it used to be. We now have new roads, newly constructed bridges, constant electricity, smooth transportation, pipe-borne water, security for life and property, among many others.
My dear people of Ogun State, it is time to work. We should wake up in our responsibility of paying our taxes. Only then can we become true partners in progress.
Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, partners in progress.